Hello, my name is Clayton, and welcome to episode 133 of the Watch Dog podcast. I'm a professional dog runner and watch enthusiast talking to his pals about dogs and watches. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for listening. You know, I appreciate it. Well, we finally got him back on the podcast. Been a couple years, I think. You may know him from his YouTube channel, Bobby Legs Loves Watches. He is the creator of Watch Soup. What a genius idea. I am lucky enough to be his co-host on that show. Please welcome Bobby Legs back to the podcast. Bobby, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Clayton. Thanks for bringing me back on. You know, at one point, I think I very early on was probably had been on the most episodes until like Sanjay took over, and he's been in way more Watchdog podcast episodes than I have. Is he still number one on your list?
I am thinking yes. I am sure he is number one. I have not gone through and counted how many times he's been on in a while, and he has not been on in a long time. I think he was on episode 100, and that was the last time. And I'm so inconsistent. That probably should be like 100 episodes ago by now, but I'm only on 133. So though it's only 33 episodes, it's like 2 years since he's been on.
Yeah, but he's like Tom Brady, man. Like he's all the appearances, you know, Super Bowl appearances.
Right? He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of your podcast,
which is, a detriment more than anything. That's not going to get you anywhere. I would not put that on the resume.
Oh man,
how are you, man?
Good, man. Good. You know, we talk about this a lot on our live stream Watch Soup. And by the way, I mean, I know you're giving me credit for creating it, but man, I feel like you're like the MVP, and your ability to break down a video is so impressive, and it's almost like watching like a mastery. Like
you
got your craft down, man. You're great. But no, great weekend. The kids were with the mother-in-law for a couple of days, so
that's good.
Me and the missus got a break, and but you know, we miss them. I don't want to make it seem like I don't miss them.
I think it's okay to not miss them, you know, for a day or two. You need a break. You need a break. Yeah, I think absolutely. It's okay. I think any parent out there listening will understand that. I didn't have kids for a reason, so I totally get it.
Yeah. But well, I appreciate you co-signing my my guilt.
There's a reason grandparents were invented, and that's it.
True.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So it's Sunday of President's Day weekend. Do you have to work tomorrow?
No. I do have the day off and tomorrow, and I took Tuesday off. The kids do have their winter break. Not winter break. I guess. Well, it's their second winter break of the year.
I know.
And they get this week, so you know I gotta stick around and help out.
Yeah, my wife and I were actually talking about that tonight because we never got February break that I can remember, and she never did either. She grew up in New Jersey, but she flew down to South Carolina this weekend to see her mom, and airfare rates were jacked up because it's February break, and they raise prices when they know people are traveling, when families are traveling. So she had to pay like a couple $100 more than we paid when we went last month, which is not fair.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, they had a break they're having a break this week coming up, and then they have another one in April, you know, around the Easter time. So it's like, man, these kids, do they ever go to school? You know?
I know. And I feel like around here, they don't get out until like the last week of June. Like, cut out one of these breaks and give these kids a real summer.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Especially when, you know, parents, most of the households that I know, I mean, like both parents work. So it gets a little tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I do have to work tomorrow, but I have a pretty light day because a lot of my clients are on vacation or away for a long weekend, you know, with President's Day. So I do have to work, but it's, you know, it'll be a fairly easy Monday compared to most. I have less dogs, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a good weekend. I did my 20-mile run today. I can't believe I'm still up. We're recording this in the evening, and I did 20 miles this morning and then another 4-mile hike with my dogs this evening. So, yeah, I'm running on fumes here, but trying to be energetic.
Yeah, well, you know what? 20 miles for you is nothing these days, man. You know?
It actually was. I would say it was balmy weather. It was nice. I overdressed, so I did the last 15 miles in a t-shirt.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
And
and
you're
it felt good.
probably motivated because, the Olympics are on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I'm certainly not motivated to break my neck on a ski hill or anything like that.
Yeah, I hear
Well,
you.
that's a good segue into our topic. Before we get there, though, what are you wearing? I have an idea.
I'm wearing my Citizen Eco Drive 365 diver. Uh awesome watch. I love it. It just fits really well on wrist for me. It just gives me that saturation diver look, even though I'm not even close to being a diver or ever dove in my life. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm smitten. I've been smitten for a while.
You are a guy who I think goes through watches fairly quickly. You wear
Yeah.
something, you pass it along. Your time is done with it. That one, is that a record for like how many times you've worn it? Do you keep track of what you wear and how many days you wear it?
No, no, I do not. But I mean, I can, you know, ballpark it in my mind, like, like what watch, gets the most wrist time. And this, my collection has shrunken over the last year. So it's really easy to keep track, at least mentally, loosely, like, what I'm wearing. And I pretty much have been wearing this watch daily for a very, very long time, especially when I'm home. Now, when I go to work, I'll switch it up a little bit, but when I come back home, I put this on.
Do you wear your GP primarily to work?
I wore the GP Richeville and the Formex Eisenkeisel dial that our friend Dib designed.
That's such a cool watch.
It totally is.
That
It totally
dial's
is.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. That's awesome. I am wearing, speaking of GP, my new acquisition. I mentioned it on the podcast last week. I didn't have it yet when we recorded, but I got the GP Laureato 50, two-tone, limited edition of 200 pieces. Got it in on Tuesday from Topper pre-owned. Got it at a pretty hefty discount from retail in mint condition. I think I've already put some scratches on it, so it's officially mine now. Oh man, what a watch. Wear is so great. It's thin at 39 millimeters, under 10 millimeters thick. What every butterfly clasp should have. And I'm going to go more into this. I think next week I'm going to talk more in depth and kind of give pros and cons of the watch and all that and do a mini review. But yeah, it has 2 millimeters of extension on each side. Every butterfly clasp should have that. Really, you can, right now I can kind of leave it in, but if I eat a lot of salt or the temperature warms up, I can pull it out on each side or one side. And 4 millimeters of adjustment should be enough there. So, oh man, what a cool watch.
Yeah, man. Congrats again. That's such a great watch. Love the Laureato. I definitely have to add one to the collection now that I have like a mini Gerard Parago collection here with the Seahawk 2 and the Richeville. Love to add the Laureato one day, man. Congratulations again.
Oh
Great
yeah,
watch.
thank you, thank you. It is a bit of a controversial watch. I keep learning more and more because I'll talk more about this next week, I think, get into it. But yeah, it does have, for the price, it retailed at almost $30,000 USD. And again, I paid I got over 30% off on it. So got
Mhm.
it for a good price. I won't be as crass to say what I actually paid for, but you could do the math if you wanted to. But yeah, the center links are not solid gold. They are capped, which I think there are probably less expensive two-tone watches that have solid gold center links. There are pros
Yeah.
and cons to that. I think the controversy is GP wasn't exactly forthright about that. They,
Hmm.
they didn't say they were, but they didn't say they weren't. So I think some people who may have bought this at retail thought they were getting solid gold center links, and then some loud voices ended up, reaching out to the brass at GP, and then they ended up putting it on their website that they are capped. Now I read one review. I knew this before I bought it, so uh, you know. Uh, Out of principle, I guess it should be for as much as they wanted, and it's an anniversary piece. Jack Forster from the 1916 Company was the only review I saw, video or print, that when this watch was released, said that it had capped center links, and he seemed to say it was because they wanted to be true to the original Laureato. And it wasn't even called the Laureato back then, but in 1975, gold capped. I am going to wear this watch a lot. And I think I would absolutely destroy solid gold links because they're a little softer. So
Right.
from that standpoint, I'm actually kind of glad they're capped. It doesn't really bother me. The bezel, solid gold, the crown, the rotor, and I got it for a pretty good price. But if I paid retail for this, I don't know. I may be a little more upset about it, but I didn't. So
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I could see how people may have been upset about the lack of transparency
yeah, yeah.
on
I
GP,
think
but
that's what it really is. Like, because yeah, people did not know that, I don't think. And I've watched several video reviews of it. You're terrific. He did a great one. And everybody says solid gold center links.
mhm.
So yeah. But I knew that. I did my research going in, and I knew they were capped, and I still went for it because it just looks. It's one of my favorite looking watches of the past couple years. It makes me feel like $1 million.
Yeah,
Oh man, it just looks so good in natural light outside. I went for a hike yesterday. I took some pictures against the snow. Oh
yeah.
man, it looks so good. Holy crap. But
I love
anyway,
it.
yeah, I will touch on that again next week and go into more detail. So yes, it is the 2026 Winter Olympics right now. So I thought we'd do something fun. First, though, have you been watching the Winter Olympics, which are taking place in Milano Cortino in Italy? Are you a big Olympics guy?
I am, although, the last several Olympics, I got to tell you, I probably haven't watched as much as I would like to, but I was able to catch up with some over the weekend. I saw the last period of the um, USA Denmark hockey game. I've seen some curling, of course,
Oh yeah, curling's a
and
must.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and some long distance skiing today, and some ski jump, and my kids' favorite, the skeleton, the head first luge. They're just baffled that anybody would go head first on a sled, and so yeah, they're excited about that.
I wish I could say I was more into the Olympics. I'm just not. As a kid, my mom was super into it, so I remember watching, skiing. She was big into the figure skating, so I
Yeah,
remember like all those classic names like Scott Hamilton, Elvis Stoiko, and like all those people. And then like that was the whole like Nancy Kerrigan
yeah.
era. So yeah, remember now I will watch curling when it's on, and I did check out some of the hockey games and a little bit of the skiing, but I'd be dishonest if I said I pay really close attention. But it's awesome. So there, and I think they go till the 22nd, so I still have some time to catch some skiing and hockey and everything. So I will make a concerted effort to watch more of the Olympics before they're done.
Same here.
All right, so we're gonna do something. I guess we'll call it the Watchdog Podcast Winter Olympics. How about that? And maybe
Sounds
during
good.
the next Summer Olympics, I'll have you back on, and we'll do
Okay.
like a old summer thing. So here's the idea: we're gonna pick 8 categories, and we're gonna mostly draw from watches that we've owned before. But for example, bracelet, tool watch, and we're going to go through the watches we've owned. Bobby and I have both owned a lot of watches, and we're going to pick a bronze medalist. Oh, just hit my mic. A bronze medalist, a silver medalist, and a gold medalist. But does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
All right. So let's start with tool watch, and you're the guest, so you can do all three of them if you want, or we can take turns with our bronze and then our silver and our gold, however you're feeling it.
I think I feel if it's okay with you, I'm going to list it from bronze, silver, and gold, and just go the three right in a row, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
Okay, so tool watch, right?
Yep.
You know, definitely the category, the name, explains it, what it is. It's a watch that, that has tool-like um properties, right? So the bronze, I give it to the Breitling Navitimer Cosmonaut. It's a
Nice.
chronograph. It's got that slide rule that I never used, but was cool to have. And yeah, like if you're a pilot, you probably would use this watch. But in our fantasy world of like, watches and pilots, this is a great little pilot. for that. The silver, I'm gonna go with the Seiko SNR 035. Now, this is a titanium all black watch with the spring drive, right? The SNRs, I think the only line that had these, or I might get that wrong. I'm not as a Seiko fanatic as you are, but this was a very light, awesome travel watch, although on the big side, but it had that spring drive, that coveted spring drive, that famous, made famous by Grand Seiko. And then finally, gold, another travel watch that I had, the Zen 856 UTC. Very compact, sleek, flies under the radar, the perfect watch. I thought that if you're going to go travel around the world and you want to make yourself a target, this is a great watch to have. So, in review, bronze goes to the Navitimer Cosmonaut, silver to the Seiko SNR 035, and gold the Zen 856 UTC.
Yep, all great choices. I don't know if you've been listening to the recent episodes, but I've been talking a lot about the Seiko SNR 045 that I own. And I joked I have become sort of the unofficial podcast of the SNR model line. I have had people reach out to me on Instagram with pictures of their SNR. I did a kind of a whole episode about whether Seiko is luxury or not. And I talked a lot about that watch. So yes, even though that is a GMT you're referencing, love the SNR line. I think most people think it's ludicrous to pay that much for a Seiko, but not enough people have gotten hands-on with these, and I think their minds would be changed. They may not buy one, but they would respect why they cost so much, I think, because they are really impressive.
I totally agree. And just a little side note on that SNR. When I purchased this one, I purchased it off eBay, a new from a seller overseas, and I paid like around $2,500 for it. So, I mean, I know these watches MSRP in the four range, but deals are out there for sure. So if you have that part of you that cannot justify in your mind spending that much for a Seiko, take a look on eBay or some of the other online platforms, and you may be able to find a really good deal.
Yeah, I would actually look from dealers because I think everyone I've seen from a private seller on like Chrono 24, the prices are bonkers. For a while, there was one or two SNR 045s on Chrono 24, and they were not in the US, but they wanted like 8,000 USD. It pretty crazy. I know these are limited and they're kind of hard to come by. I'm not sure people really move on from them. But dealers, I think some dealers have them new and are looking to get rid of them. So I think you can score that way. And then, yeah, like Topper, I got mine at a very reasonable price, well under retail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic watches. Man, they don't get a fair shake, and it's basically a Grand Seiko.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. So unbelievable choices. The Zen, the Cosmonaut, fantastic tool watches. Yeah. So I know tool watch gets thrown around a lot. Like, is a sub a tool watch anymore? I mean, it could be. It's very capable, but most people don't use it for that, right? But I am somebody who does use my watches as tools just about every day. I use my stopwatch on digital watches. I use my countdown bezel on divers to time my dog runs at work if I'm wearing a diver, or even tonight. I would, when I went for a hike with my dogs, I would use a bezel. So yes, I definitely still try to use them as tools, even though it's not really necessary to use them as a tool, but it's fun for me. So my first choice, the bronze medal for my tool watch, goes to the Tudor FXD Black. Fixed lugs. I sold that watch, but arguably one of my favorite divers of all time and the most comfortable diver I've ever worn, no matter what strap. I wore it with those Velcro hook and loop straps. That was my favorite way to wear it. As our friend Chaz might say, sweatpants for the wrist. Obviously, Tudor bezel action is among the best, so it was pleasurable to play with and fidget with, but also a very capable timing device for hikes. If you happen to go for a swim, it's good for that too. Since it does have the fixed lugs, it only works with, maybe a pass-through type strap. So if, your strap breaks or something, the watch isn't going to fall off. So from that aspect, it's a very capable tool watch, and yeah, just the black is just badass. So yeah, that's an ultimate tough, and it's titanium, it's lighter, but it's not featherweight. Like some titanium watches are pretty light. There's still a little bit of bulk to the FXD, so it's just awesome. But that goes for my bronze. Now, I think silver, I don't like this watch as much as the Tudor FXD Black, but I'm still going with it because I think the complication is really cool. And we'll come back to it. The Damasco DC80 Central Minutes Chronograph. I don't know why there aren't more Central Minutes Chronograph watches. It does not have subdials. It just times 1 hour, and that's all the chronograph does. It doesn't even have a running seconds. That one didn't. And if you want to time something for an hour, I don't think most of us are timing anything longer than an hour. And if you are, it has a dive bezel on it too, or a countdown bezel. It's I believe that was bi-directional. You could go either way. Yeah, just a great complication. Love the Damasco DC80. It was a little too much watch for my wrists. If I had like a 7.25-inch wrist, I would probably still have that in the collection. But Damasco, the ice hardened steel, I mean, rugged. You could do just about anything in that. You could go on like a days long hiking trip and, time your hikes and fall if you wanted to. And that watch would not have a scratch on it. So killer watch. And then my gold medal, probably no surprise, goes to the G-Shock Square. I actually went with the titanium G-Shock Square here, even though I don't own one anymore. That was my preferred watch for work. I've had a few different titanium, but I think the one I probably wore the most was the blue camo. I wore that for work so much, and it actually has like a DLC coating, so it didn't scratch. And then, obviously you can do just about anything with the G-Shock Square. You can time, stopwatch. It has multi-band 6. It also connects to Bluetooth, so it's always going to be accurate. Titanium G-Shock Squares just absolutely look the business. So yes, just to recap here, bronze medal goes to the Tudor FXD Black, silver Damasco DC80 Central Minutes Chronograph, and the gold medal for tool watch titanium G-Shock Square.
Love all these picks. I have a feeling that the G-Shock digital stealth wealth, as it's known,
Yes.
is gonna appear somewhere on another category for me, as well as a different Damasco, but love the Damasco. I know it wasn't your favorite, but Damasco overall, great company.
If that watch just wasn't so heavy and like top heavy, I would have. I don't know if I'd still have it. That's a little ridiculous to say. That was like 5 years ago, but I would have made it a little longer in my collection than it did. It just was not pleasurable to wear. But oh man, I just love that complication.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Dial next, and you can do the honors again.
Yeah,
Our
sure.
favorite dials.
Yeah, sure. This was an interesting one. Again, a lot of these watches that I'm picking are going to appear in a lot of other categories. It's funny. So I would start off with the bronze with the Jaeger and Benzinger edition 3, and the reason why I picked it, you had this beautiful barley corn type guilloche on the dial from the master himself, Benzinger. Just a great looking watch. At the time, the price point was unbelievable. These watches have crept up in price. It's $6,000 now. The time I picked it up, it was in the low threes. It's amazing what time has done, and the appreciation of Benzinger, I think, also has helped his price point, retire. The silver, I'm going to give it to the Kadoki 2, another German independent. Man, if you don't know Kadoki, and I know you do, Clayton, but if any of your listeners don't know Kadoki, give a look. See, you can go to Watch Buys, is one of the websites here locally in the States where you can see some of his watches. He's a watchmaker. I think he's he's considered one of the top young watchmakers, independent watchmakers in Germany. Just a great watch, great dial. And if you know, you know. And the gold goes to, and I put some thought into this one, and it could have been either one of my picks could have gotten the gold, but I'm gonna go with the Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds.
Oh,
That dial was so dynamic and beautiful. I loved that watch. It just was one of those watches that when you looked at it, it just made you smile. So just to recap, bronze for the Jaeger and Benziger Edition 3, silver for the Godoki 2, and the gold going to Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds.
awesome picks. Yeah, you know what? I did own the Sea of Clouds for a while, and I almost put it on here, but it didn't make it. But oh, beautiful, beautiful dials. Yeah, Jaeger and Benzinger watch. I remember that watch. Man, outstanding, outstanding. And I'm going to try to feature somehow in the show notes all of these watches so you know what the hell we're talking about. So you can see. I'll try to put links to all of them if I can find good pictures. Bobby, if you have some pictures, maybe I can try to put Instagram post together or something like
Yeah.
that, so we can, get eyes on all of these watches. But yeah, great choices. All right, so dial for me. This was tough. There's a lot of great choices, and it was really I felt like I was leaving stuff out, and I felt a little guilty. But all right, bronze. That blue Zin 104
Mm.
that I had. It was a limited edition, the
Yeah.
104 STSAABE. Real quick, do you understand the reference numbers, like why they have an ST together, the SA together, and then A, B, and E are all separated? Do you understand why they do that?
Um, I think the ST means that it's steel. Um, the B obviously means blue dial. And A maybe the Arabic numbers
Okay.
as opposed to yeah. So I think it has something to do. Those are that's what it is.
Okay.
I think that yeah.
Because it seems a little strange to like write out and read out, but yeah, that
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, figured there was a real good reason for that. I just didn't know it, and I knew you are
Right.
the German watch expert, so I knew you would know. But that like sunburst dial, and I was looking back at my Instagram post from like 5 years ago when I owned that watch, and I captured a picture of it with the sun coming through my window, hitting it just perfectly. Oh, it's just so good. And then like the creamy kind of indices, like that old loom style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that was it's a beautiful watch. I've had a few blue watches like that do that, but this one had to make the list. What a great watch that was. What a beautiful dial. All right, silver for me. The Citizen, the washi paper dial. I had the AQ 4100-65W that actually had like gold leaf platinum flakes in the washi paper, so the little specks of like gold. My friend actually said it looked like it actually looked like yellow dog pee and white snow, but I didn't see that. He didn't like it, but I did not ever see that. Well, I couldn't unsee it once he said that, but I'll try to put a link to Citizens page because there are some great videos on there on their YouTube channel about how they make those washi paper dials. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. And again, some people won't want to spend big money on a The Citizen, but the craftsmanship that goes into those is just outstanding. And a little foreshadowing, it's not the last time this watch will appear on my list either. And then the gold has to go to probably one of the most special dials I've ever owned, the Moser Endeavor Funky Blue Concept Dial. So a concept dial Moser, there's no logo, there's no indices, no seconds track, no nothing. It's just a blank funky blue dial. And I would take that outside and you could actually, there's no ARC on the crystal. So you could kind of get like clouds in the, and with that blue, endless blue dial, it actually looked like a cloudy blue sky. And I would take some pictures of that. It just looked like you were looking at the sky. So different in different lightings. And that's what I always thought was so cool. It was sunburst, so it looked one way in the sun, but in like a dark setting, like with low light, it actually looked kind of like a magical orb crystal ball type of thing, which I also thought was pretty cool. So yeah, that was just for such a simple dial because there's nothing on it. No logo, no Swiss made, no nothing. Kind of hard to set unless you were setting it at the top of the hour. It didn't matter what time it was. Who cares with a watch like that? So yes, just to recap, we have the Zin 104 STSA ABE, that beautiful blue dial. silver, the Citizen with that washy paper dial, and then my gold, the Moser Endeavor funky blue center seconds.
Yeah, I mean, great picks. I like you
I like you
have that.
too. Oh.
As you do, have that citizen, the citizen in several other categories here as
Yeah.
well. It's such a great timepiece. That Moser, man, that Moser was such a watch. I love the brand. I love how daring they are. And you know, they're the kind of brand they just do, and they're like, you either like it or you don't.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and I appreciate the how brave they are with that.
They should steal Tudor's Born to Dare because they're much more daring than Tudor is. That's for sure. You
Great
know,
point.
the Swiss Icon watch, the Apple Watch, the Alp watch. It goes on to the Cheese watch. They've done
Yep.
some really crazy things. So yeah, they're a really cool brand. A lot of high horology brands just take themselves way too seriously, and Moser certainly does not do that, which is one of the things that has drawn me to them over the years. They send their owners funny Christmas holiday sweaters, which I actually have one. I did not buy mine brand new, so I'm not on the mailing list for a Christmas sweater, but I was able to get one from somebody who was, and I wore it this Christmas. I think it's going to be a tradition for me to wear that sweater on Christmas Day. So,
Nice.
all right, let's go next. The next event or category, if you will, favorite non-mechanical watch. So probably thinking quartz here or another direction. Bobby, you go ahead.
Okay. This one, I'm gonna have to get some clarification on silver and gold if this is acceptable as a non-mechanical watch. But the bronze, I'm gonna give it to the G-Shock Square, the titanium, the
Yes.
Stealth Wealth, the Digi Camo. I had the black one or the dark gray Digi Camo. I know you had the blue one. But the black one, it's so good that as soon as I got it, Mrs. Legs automatically took that watch off of my possession, and she has it now. She owns it, and
She still wears it, huh?
she still wears it. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
a great watch. I mean, it just fits so comfortably. It's so light. All the things that you said, you described, I feel the same way. Just a great timepiece, and love the square anyway. And this is just like top notch square. Silver and gold. These silver, I'm gonna go with the Citizen, the Citizen. Now I know it's not mechanical, even though it's like, it's got the hands and whatnot. But the watch is amazing. I had it with the blue washi paper, and so light. It was titanium, fits so comfortably, and it really opened up my eyes to uh quartz or eco drive type watches. I resisted for a while, but then having that Citizen in the collection and just appreciating how well it was done and finished, um, really, like I said, it was an eye-opening experience, and that leads me to gold. And I had to go again with the the Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds. I mean, this watch was just my favorite in so many different categories here. It gets a number one. It was just a great timepiece, and and I took it off the bracelet and I put it on the strap. I put it back on the bracelet back and forth a few times. I had to say that and this may go into another category that we're going to be talking about, but I was worried because it was finished so had that high polish that it made me nervous to wear it. That was the only downside of that.
Yeah.
But just to recap, non-mechanicals, appreciate the latitude here given the bronze to the G-Shock, Stealth Wealth, silver to the Citizen, and gold to Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds.
Yeah, it is. It is a little nerve wracking if you buy a Grand Seiko brand new and it's all Zaratu polish. Like that first scratch, even for me, somebody who really likes to scratch my watches, it's a little jarring even for me. Like that first one really hurts because it's noticeable. Not to anyone else. No one's really gonna look, but you know it's noticeable. So yeah, oh man, yeah, it can be a little tough, but yeah, the great choices. Yeah, So I actually left the 9F off of my list. I kind of want to explain why before I go into my list. Um, I love high accuracy quartz, and obviously the 9F is amazing. But one of the reasons I actually prefer the Citizen, the movement, is because it's solar powered.
Mhm.
You have to change the battery every couple of years in the Grand Seiko. So while I appreciate I owned, I think the longest I ever owned, I think it was a SBGP 015 9F. I owned it for 15 months. It gained 1 second in 15 months, like
Wow.
way better than, what they promise in the spec
Right.
sheet. Right. But then, you have to change the battery a couple of years and then start it over again with the Citizen. You really, what are you going to get? Like, I don't know. People have had Citizen watches, Eco Drive watches for 20 years, and they're still going. So it's really cool to have a watch that could theoretically gain like 30 seconds in 20 years or something ridiculous, right? Like that's neat. So I love that. If I'm going to have a high accuracy quartz, I'd rather have it be solar so I never have to touch it. And the Citizen is also a perpetual calendar. So it's going to be dead on with the date, with the month, with the year, with time for, 16 to 20 years, I would say. So that's one of the reasons I prefer it. But now I will go into my list. I've kind of spoiled my list maybe a little bit, but here we go. All right. So, favorite non mechanical watch, bronze, the Gerard Perregaux Casquette. This is a driving watch that was originally released in the 70s. They did a reissue, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at this point, maybe a little less than that. Really not a great time telling device at all. It's a very, rudimentary display. You press the button, it doesn't stay on long enough. If you're driving, you actually have to take one hand off the wheel to press the button to see the time.
Yeah.
It's not very intuitive like a digital G-Shock or a Timex Iron Man or something like that. It's not intuitive whatsoever, but oh man, it's full ceramic. The in between the links was polished ceramic, and boy, that played with the light so much. It just looks cool. It looks like a watch Darth Vader would wear.
Yeah.
It is black ceramic too, so it's just blacked out. What an amazing watch. A little expensive for what it was, but I think they did pretty well with those. I think they sold through. They've had a couple different iterations since then, but I had the original, the 2.0. What a cool watch. That is my bronze. Now, I'm actually putting the Citizen in the silver position. All the things I just talked about. It's a perpetual calendar. Now, I found it to be a little less accurate than the 9F. It did lose, I owned it for over a year, and I think it did lose like 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, something like that. But I think that movement is a little dependent on wearing it every day. So I think if you wear it every day, if that's going to be like your daily, you'll do better with accuracy. It's something to do with like the body heat. I kid you not. There's something in the instructions about that. I'm not entirely clear on it right now, but it is dependent on how much you wear it, where the 9F is not. So that might be one drawback, but it's fairly easy to set. It's a perpetual calendar. The date, it's really cool, like in February on the 28th, to watch it turn over to March 1st, because that's actually when I was sure that I said it correctly, because January has 31 days and then it rolled over to February. I bought it in January. And then I was, on the 28th, I was like, oh boy, all right, hopefully I set this right. And sure enough, it rolled over to the first. So I was like, all right, yes. So what a cool movement. Again, the washi paper is designed to get the solar, power through the dial. So what a really cool, the whole thing is just amazing. So yes. And then number one gold medal, I guess you could say, is just Casio as a brand. They are it's still, I think, my favorite brand after all these years, from G-Shocks to like the A168. I went to a coffee shop the other day and the barista was wearing an A168. And I said, oh, nice watch, man. I'm a watch guy too. And I showed him my Casio and he looked at me like I had three heads. So I noticed a lot of young people are wearing those. And maybe it's just ironical. It's like a blowback against smartwatches and being connected and that kind of thing. But mostly like at coffee shops, a lot of baristas. I go to coffee shops fairly often to get lunch or something, and the women and the men are wearing these, retro Casio digital watches, and I, of course, think it's amazing. And then when you compliment them, they look at you like, no, I don't even think about it. I just wear it because it matches my retro style, my ironic style. So, yeah. So Casio from G-Shock on down, just my favorite brand. I use them almost every day for work, a few different G-Shocks, and I've had several inexpensive Casios, non-G-Shock Casios. So yes, that is my gold. So just to recap, the bronze medal in non-mechanical goes to the Casquette from Gerard Perigo. The silver goes to the Citizen, and the gold goes to Casio as a brand.
And the Citizen, man, makes another appearance in another category, two categories, man.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we both sold them, but that's our
Yeah.
that's how we are. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's do bracelet. As
Yeah.
our next
Bracelet,
category.
yeah, this one was a tough one for me because, a lot of the watches that I have, are I prefer them on rubber, right? And so, obviously, Seiko, has to be in consideration, although, the clasp, arguably, the is their weak point here. But I'm gonna give I'm gonna give me my three picks here. Okay. Now, this one's gonna catch some flack. It might catch some flack from you. It might catch some flack from some of your listeners. But bronze, I'm gonna go with the Tudor Black Bay 58. And I know people didn't like the faux rivets on the Black Bay 58. That to me didn't bother me. I felt that the bracelet very, very comfortable on wrist, and it was one of my favorites. But I do give it the bronze. Silver, oh, man, Citizen the Citizen. I mean, like that titanium bracelet, it just felt so light on wrist. It felt like it was a toy. Now, clasp is a different story, but that's not this category. The category is the bracelet. And so I don't know if because it was titanium, this made it an easier pick because of the way it felt, but it just really felt like it just draped across my wrist, and it was just a very comfortable wear. And then number one, the silver. I mean, the gold. I got to give it to the Rolex Submariner. Man, there was nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this watch. This watch hits all the marks for me, from the glide lock clasp, from the way the bracelet feels, just the aesthetic look, the balance on wrist. It has the history, the icon status, and the bracelet on the Submariner it just felt great. It just felt great. So as a recap, bronze goes to the Tudor Black Bay 58, silver, the Citizen, and gold, Rolex Submariner.
Yeah, I mean, my list is going to be pretty similar to yours. I love the Black Bay 58 bracelet. The rivets, you don't even see them when they're on the wrist. So I never got the big to do about that. That does not matter to me at all. I think that's so silly. I actually think they look kind of cool too.
Me too.
I don't get it. I don't get why everybody hates that. But yeah, and then the sub, you can't really argue with and we can say Oyster because we're talking about Rolex. So yeah, the Oyster bracelet, I mean, that's going to make an appearance on my list as well. All right, so let's get into what I have to say for the event of favorite bracelet. So I'm going with Tudor also for the bronze, but I'm going with that 5-link bracelet they have. I don't know if you can really call it Jubilee. I've heard it more as a 5-link bracelet. We have the Black Bay 54 Lagoon Blue that I co-own with my wife that I've mentioned on the podcast many times. That has that 5-link bracelet. Oh, I think it looks awesome. It's so comfortable. And of course, with the T-Fit clasp, with the micro adjust, man, just a great wearing bracelet. I also love the Black Bay 58 bracelet. I almost put that, but that 5-link, just because it has a little flash to it, a little flair to it, that edged out just the traditional Black Bay 58 bracelet for me in the bronze position. All right, silver, the Cartier Santos.
Mm.
Now, it does have a butterfly clasp without the adjustment of the Girard Perregaux that I own now, the Laureato 50. But, toolless, taking the links out is a really cool system. As long as you have a little bit of fingernail, you can do that. And then switching it out, you can do with your fingernails as well. It's so easy. I think more brands, and Richemont as a group is really good about the bracelet technology. I know IWC has something similar as well. But I think watch bracelets scare a lot of casual watch wearers, people who aren't in like you and I are, and everybody listening to the podcast. So, one of my clients recently bought a Santos, and I sort of showed him, how it works. Just use your fingernail. He was a little scared of it. He had it sized at the authorized dealer where he bought it, but I was like, no, you can, if you ever need to make an adjustment, this is what you do. It's really easy. And hopefully he's comfortable enough to do it, but oh yeah, what a great design. Also, it just wears great. It looks great. The Santos can be dressed up or down. So yeah, that is the silver Rolex Oyster. Gets the gold here. Everything you said. I mean, wears amazingly well. Easy Link is great. Yeah. So Glide Lock, if you have a Submariner. I have the Air King now, so it's Easy Link, but I've never really, it just always works. Winter or summer, I never have to adjust the Easy Link. So as long as I don't gain any weight, that should always be the case. So yes, just to recap, in the bracelet event, the the bronze goes to the 5-link bracelet on my BB54 Lagoon Blue, the silver, the Cartier Santos, and the Rolex Oyster bracelet gets the gold.
Yeah, I mean, very, very similar picks on our end, except for our silver picks. Yeah, I mean, Rolex, they know how to make a watch.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, there's a reason they are probably one of the hypiest brands, one of the most, well, obviously the most popular brand. They sell the most watches. Yeah, there's a reason, and it goes beyond hype. It's because they make a damn solid, rock solid watch. Maybe nothing overly fancy, overly complicated, but just rock solid.
Agreed.
All right, we're getting there here. Let's go to the next event. How about complication?
All right, jumping into complications, I got a couple of choices here that may surprise you, especially the bronze pick. The bronze, I'm going to go with my Girard Perregaux Seahawk 2. Now,
Wow.
you know this as a diver, right? But it actually has a power reserve indicator, one of my favorite complications and one that I find very useful. Although this watch is a automatic timepiece, and usually you see these a power reserve makes sense if it's a manual wind watch. But nonetheless, I love the look, and it was one of the features of the watch that attracted to me when I purchased the watch. With silver, I'm gonna go with the Zin 856 UTC. This was the number one in my tool watch. This is gonna be number two in the complications. I love the UTC complication. It's very similar to GMT, and I just love that watch overall. And finally, gold. I'm gonna give it to one of my favorite chronographs that I've ever owned, and it is from Damasco. It is the DC56. Just a great, solid watch. As you mentioned, that tough ice coated or ice hardened case, and just the legibility of this Pilot Chrono is just it's unmatched by from anything that I've ever had, and just a great timepiece, great solid watch. So as a review, the bronze goes to the Girard Perregaux Seahawk 2 with power reserve. The silver goes to the Zin 856 UTC, and the gold goes to the Damasco DC6.
I love a power reserve. That did not make my list, but I love the power reserve on my SNR 045. Breaks up the dial a little bit. I'm actually kind of sad that Grand Seiko has started to put them on the back.
Right.
I don't understand the point of that. I don't look at the back of my watch. So why not? I love having it on the dial. I like winding the watch and watching it go up. I like if I haven't worn it for a day or two. That SNR, I think, has a 70-hour power reserve or 72-hour power reserve, right? So, if it's if I haven't worn it in a couple days and I pick it up again and it's like halfway, I like just wearing it, and you can watch it go up as you're moving your arm. That is so responsive to just being, worn for a while, going for a walk or something, that thing fills right up and you can watch it fill up. So I love a power reserve on the dial. I'm kind of sad GS has moved to putting it on the back.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So for me in this category, my bronze is Weiss, the company that used to be in LA. Now they're in Nashville. The ultralight hacking. So I had the special titanium watch, the ultralight 42 millimeter field watch. Ultimately sold it because it was all dial and it was 42 millimeter. It was just a little big, but a very special watch. It was basically made to order. So I ordered it and then it took 8 weeks. He kind of just makes it for you. So the Caliber 1003 movement has a great hacking trick that I think every watch should have. So, if you want to set your watch to the second, right? And say you start winding the watch and you want to set the time, but the seconds hand is at the 10 or the 2, at the 2. So you have to wait for it to go all the way around to the 12 so you can set the watch right to the second, right? Not with this. If the seconds hand is at the 2 and you're ready to set the watch, pull the crown out, even though the movement is not running, the seconds hand will continue to go around until it hits the 12 and then it will stop. So you can move the hands and then you can have it ready and that seconds hand continues to go. And when it gets to the 12, it stops. I think that is such a neat hacking trick. I've never seen that on any other watch that I know of. It may exist, but I've never seen it. Love that. I don't know if you can consider that a complication or not, but that gets the bronze for me. The Solar Perpetual Calendar in the Citizen will win the silver medal here for me. Again, the Citizen. I think maybe in almost every category for me so far. Like I said it before, I won't spend too much time on it again. A watch that is solar powered, that is going to run uninterrupted for many, many years until the capacitor goes. To have it be a perpetual calendar and just know the correct date, time, and year is amazing. So that's it. And then the gold medal will go to, it's a tie, actually, because I have two watches that sort of perform the same function. The Nomos Neomatic World Timer that came out last year. I have the Dune.
Yes.
And then the Vogard F1 Time Zoner, which actually IWC purchased that IP from them for their time zoner. So essentially they're both kind of the same. It's a world timer where when you, on the Nomos, you press a button and there's a city ring around and you press the button and the hour hand will move to the time zone of that city that's on the dial. And the Vogard kind of has the same thing. That is a little more clunky. It has like a dongle on it and you pull that down and then you move the bezel, which I actually think is an even better complication. It just has like a barnacle on the side, sort of looks like reminiscent of Panerai with the crown guard dongle there. But yeah, then you move the bezel and the hour hand moves to the corresponding time on the, whatever city it's showing. So really cool complication. I don't really like a traditional GMT. So something like this where the hand moves when you either press the button on the Nomos or move the bezel on the Vogard. I love that. Just if you're flying somewhere or just to play with, it's super fun and satisfying. That button click on the Nomos Neomatic World Timer is very satisfying. I press it over and over and over again. One time my wife actually yelled at me because it's pretty loud and audible. So yeah, she's like, "Would you stop?" Like, I guess. Okay, I'll stop. So yeah, just to in the complication category, just to recap. The bronze goes to the Weiss Ultralight hacking system, the silver, the Solar Perpetual Calendar in the Citizen, and the gold, a tie, the Nomos Neomatic, and the Vogard F1 Time Zoner that I have.
Yeah, man, I love all these picks. I love that some Nomos Neomatic, of course, the Citizen. Interesting take with the Weiss, and yeah, just some great choices there.
All right, we're getting through here. I've had a long day, and yeah, we're busting through, but I'm having fun. This is fun. I can't wait till the when I guess 2028 will be the Summer Olympics. We'll have to come up with something else.
Yep.
All right, one of my personal favorite categories now: best bezel action that you've ever had on a watch, Bobby.
Okay, yeah, interesting. All these are divers, of course.
Yes,
And
well, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Could be a
But
GMT.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like interesting enough, like you have the Breitling Navitimer, but that's like a frictionless bezel. So I don't wouldn't consider that in this category, but here you
Yeah.
go. Here's the my bronze Tudor Black Bay 58. Chris, I believe it was 60 click bezel. Hit all the marks and enjoyed turning that one. Silver, the Gerard Perregaux Seahawk 2. My first luxury watch.
Awesome.
It was a diver watch. Great action on that bezel as well. And gold, nothing has ever come close to this one in my collection, and that is the Rolex Submariner. Again, Rolex dialing it in every single way. It is, the more and more I think about it, close to a perfect watch, as you get the Rolex Submariner. And I know I'll get a lot of flack on that, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not going to get much argument from me. I have a similar gold, so let me just get into mine real quick, and then we
Yep.
can kind of discuss. So, all right, bronze. I went for the Damasco DC80 that had a bezel
Oh,
on it. It's a Central Minutes chronograph, but it did have a traditional sort of dive-ish countdown bezel, and it has like a ball bearing system. So it's just definite. It's fun to play with. Loud clicks. Really interesting bezel action, but in a good way. Very satisfying to play with. I thought it was amazing. And even though it is bi-directional, it ratchets sort of like I don't know. It's not like a GMT frictionless bezel. It has a noticeable click. It's a fun fidget spinner. I judge this category. If I'm a judge holding up a sign, like, in a lot of the Olympic events, fidget spinnerality is like my number one category. So it gets a 10. It gets a 10 there. Yeah. So Damasco DC80, a watch I did not keep for all that long, has made it in a couple categories here. But yeah, I'm sure the diver, I've never handled a Damasco diver, but I'm sure the bezel action is just phenomenal with that ceramic ball bearing system they use. We have the same well, I don't know I can't remember where you had Tudor. I have it at silver, one of the best 60 click bezels on the market. We have the Lagoon Blue. I've had several Black Bay 58s, though. It's just so satisfying, feels so good. And it has that indent at the 12 o'clock position. So even if you're not even looking, you can feel when it's 12 o'clock because it just
mhm.
kind of settles in, which I think is really good. And the sub, a watch that I had a complicated relationship with, but you can't argue with that bezel action. It just feels so premium, feels so good. The only other luxury dive watch I've really handled was the 50 Fathoms. And to me, that bezel action felt cheap and plasticky. And maybe it was that one watch, maybe it was a bad example, but I was wearing the sub at the time and it wasn't even a contest. I was like, man, this 50 Fathoms feels like a toy compared to the sub. So in terms of bezel action, anyway. So yeah, the sub is just way above any other bezel action I've ever experienced.
Is this the first time we agree with gold?
I
I
think
think
so.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to recap: bronze, Damasco DC80; silver, Tudor, any Tudor, pick a Tudor, any Tudor, and then the Submariner gets the gold in the bezel action event category. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
just it feels so good. It's just such a luxury, satisfying click.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
two events left here. All right, now we're going to go to, we've talked about watches that we've owned. Now we're going to go nicest watches you've ever seen that you've never owned. So, we've been to watch events, get togethers. I know you've been to like Watch Time, you've been to Wind Up, and you've seen some crazy watches. So, yeah, let's talk about watches and these are in all likelihood way above our budget. So, mine are anyway. Yeah. So coolest watch you've seen that you've never owned.
So speaking of sub, the day that I went to go pick up my sub, I went up to Boston to pick it up, and I was a little early, so the boutique was still closed. But there was another boutique across the street, and I think it was just, not uh, they sold various watches, right? I mean, like but it was all high end. And in the window, and I got to go in and try it on, was an A. Lange& Söhne Zeitwerk in honey gold.
Oh,
And man, that honey gold, it was just so, so beautiful. I mean, the watch is amazing in itself. And if you know the Zeitwerk, you know what I'm talking about. It's a mechanical watch, but it looks like is it digital? I mean, the way how it works. I
Right.
mean, you're not, there's no hands, and but just a incredibly complicated movement on that watch, and with that honey gold case, oh, it was just such a beauty. So that gets my bronze. Um, silver, silver is going, and silver and gold. I saw this. We did a visit, me and some of my watch friends, to Watchbox, now known as the 1916 company, several years ago, and they laid out some watches for us that were just bangers. Um, I was taken by, and I was surprised I was taken by this selection at silver, the AP Royal Oak Minute Repeater Super Sonnerie. Uh, yes, I'm fully aware that at this point in time that AP is part of the Holy Trinity. The Royal Oak is a highly sought after watch. It really didn't do much for me until I saw this particular watch in person, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful sound coming out of that watch, and just amazing how it felt on wrist. I think this watch is a couple $100,000 easily.
Yeah.
But just an amazing, amazing timepiece. In gold, uh, a watch that I had seen, a variation of it I had seen in photos and in a video or here or two, and then when I saw it in person, like I was just, I've never seen anything so amazing, and that was the Roger Dubuis Sympathy by Retrograde Perpetual Calendar. Now,
Wow.
yes, that's a whole lot right there, right? So if you heard of Roger Dubuis, he was a watchmaker, and I believe he got his start off in Longines, and he was responsible for the Longines sympathy. Now, the design of the case is nothing like I've ever seen, or you probably have ever seen, and hopefully we'll give an image on in the notes. But
Yeah,
but
send me
it's
an image or link of that one if you would, please.
but it's very hard to describe. It's not like your typical round case or rectangular case or square case. It flares out over the edges, and it kind of looks like, I don't know. You have to see it for yourself. But what's amazing, there's so many amazing things about this watch. The crystal fits the case outline. It's not like a crystal, like a circular crystal and a weird shaped case. It actually fits the case. And so replacing those crystals is just astronomical. And so Roger Dubuis brought that over to his personal brand when he created his personal brand. Now, if you see more modern sympathies, they still have that funky case, but the crystal is a circle, is circular.
Huh.
But originally, it wasn't, and it was gold, and it had a black dial, and it was like by retrograde with the like dates. Date was retrograde, and then another part of it was retrograde, and it had like a moon phase complication. Such a beautiful watch, so exquisite, and if money was no object for me, that's probably going to be in the short list of watches that I got. And
I
so that gets my
I
vote.
love it. I love that Roger Dubuis was your number one. Yeah, that's awesome. What a cool looking watch. I
Yeah.
think I have it up here. Man, that's wild. All right, so that's a great list. Yeah, incredible. All three. The honey gold long. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Beautiful.
All right, so my bronze in this category, and I'm not even sure I actually have the correct reference number. There is a small watch store in Rhode Island. They used to be a Rolex and Patek dealer. They've been around for generations. They lost both. There's a lot of rumors. Rhode Island is a small state, in many ways like a small town. The whole state's like a small town. I've heard various rumors of how they lost their Rolex deal and their Patek deal. But anyway, nonetheless, every time you go in there, the old guys who own it are wearing just baller watches. They have opened the safe to me before, and I have gotten to see Daytonas, like Newman Daytonas and old subs. They're like, these were $500 when we sold them years ago, or when my dad sold them. I think his dad even owned it back then. And he's like, so we just have a bunch of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so the treasure trove in their safe. But anyway, one day he was wearing a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5712 chronograph. And I remember Googling it after he was like, "Oh yeah, try it on here." Where it was like on Chrono 24. And this was probably during the craze around COVID. Like I think this was before the watch market kind of took a dump. I think it was like $190,000 on there. It's an older watch, but yeah. So I was like, oh wow, I just had a $190,000 watch on my wrist. Really
Wow.
cool. I've never like been overly a fan of the Nautilus in pictures, but it was really cool to get to check that out in person and have it on my wrist. Heavy watch for sure. So yes, that's my bronze. Silver, the Creedor, and I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, the Aichi 2. It's a platinum cased watch with a porcelain dial. There's a blue one and there's a white one. These run about $50,000. My friend and I went to a Grand Seiko event at the local authorized dealer a couple years ago. Joe Kirk was there. Grand Seiko, obviously, but they had some Creedor there too, and they had these. They're incredible. They look so beautiful in person. Rather simple watches, porcelain dial. But yeah, if I had, again, if money was no object and I had a spare $50,000 sitting around, I would get one of these, no problem. There's a cheaper version that looks kind of like it called the Kuan, that
Yeah.
I know somebody who has one and actually got one in Japan at the flagship Grand Seiko store. Was able to pick it up in person there. It's incredible. I wanted to buy it from him. I think because it's so special, he's going to just keep it forever. You can get them on Chrono 24. I think it's about 8,000, depending on how the dollar is doing. It's about $8,000. I know the price kind of fluctuates here and there, but with tariffs and taxes and VAT and all that, I don't know what I wouldn't want to buy one because it's going to probably be a few thousand more with all that added on. But just a great watch. But yeah, the Aichi 2 is the silver, and then by far the gold medal winner here, the Grand Seiko Kodo Constant Force Tourbillon. At that same event, they had those there.
Yes.
Oh man, what it's like a skeleton watch. The only downside is you can see your arm hair through it, which isn't the most attractive. But but oh my gosh, those go for about $200,000. There is somebody on the various Facebook groups I'm on, and I think that you're on too, who owns both of them. And just to see them side by side, and I never got that's a dream watch that I never ever in a million years thought I got to check out, and I was able to handle it and take pictures of it, and it is just stunning, the craftsmanship that goes into that watch. So yep, that's my trifecta there of watches, nicest watches I've never gotten to own, but I've gotten to check out. Bronze, that I think it's the 5712 Patek Philippe chronograph. He had the white dial. Creedor Aichi 2 porcelain dial, platinum case is silver, and then the gold goes to the GS Kodo Constant Force Tourbillon.
I mean, what do you say? I mean, what can you say? Those are just amazing, amazing watches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to see these, I mean, it's almost like going into the museum and seeing the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
I mean, these are just like works of art.
Yeah. All right, we have one last event before the closing ceremonies of the inaugural Watchdog Podcast Olympics. We're gonna finish with finishing. Makes sense, right? All right,
Yeah.
Bobby, what's your take
Okay.
on finishing? Best finishing you've had in your collection?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, look, so I recently picked up the Gerard Perregaux Richeville. Now, uh it was a watch that the scene that I followed for a long time that I wanted to pick up. I love the tonneau case, and I just love the shape of it and the look. But I didn't realize when I got it was how well it was finished. The case is almost like mirror-like, and the hands and the number indices are just polished so highly, like it's very, very reflective, and it caught me by surprise. And it obviously is a very pleasant surprise. So the Richfield will get my bronze. Silver, I got to go with the Jaeger and Benzinger. Not only did we have what I described the barley corn guilloche in the front, but the back, the movement side is just incredibly engraved, and it's just and guilloche as well. It's just amazing what what he was able to do with an off the shelf movement that they found in a factory. Right? It was, I forget the name of the movement, but it was they don't even, the company doesn't even exist anymore. But they found these off the shelf movements, basic movements, and they just made it into a work of art, and it is amazing. And again, put a link in the show notes so you can see what I'm talking about. And number one, I mean, again, it appears in another category, and that is the Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds. I mean, the Zaratsu polishing of the case, of the hands, there's nothing like it, and
Yeah.
and that is a great thing, but it is also was helps detract a little bit because for me, because it almost made it like I just didn't want to wear it. I was afraid to, because I just didn't want to scuff up how beautiful the watch was. So my picks: bronze, going to the Richeville, silver, the Jaeger and Benzinger edition 3, and the gold going to Grand Seiko Sea of Clouds.
Awesome choices. I understand where you're coming from with the Zaratsu polishing. No, I usually just wear my watches. So the first Grand Seiko I bought was pre-owned, and it was already scratched. So I was like, F it, let's just wear it. Got that out of the way.
Right.
The other two I bought were brand new, and yeah, I especially on the Sea of Clouds, like I scratched it that day. It was a pretty big. I was like, how did I even do that? I didn't do anything crazy with it. I didn't go hiking with it or anything. I think you just have to look at it and it scratches. It's very easy. So yeah, that, like I said earlier, even me who kind of welcomes scratches with open arms, that one kind of stung for a while. You get over it, but yeah, that one kind of hurt. So yeah, Zaratsu polishing is just incredible. So yeah, that's a worthy gold medalist there for sure. All right, for me now, the bronze. This one might be a little controversial, and I'm not even sure it's my favorite finishing of all time, but it was the most surprising, and that was on the Casio Oceanus. The way they finished titanium, and I have heard that it is actually Zaratsu polishing that they use on those. It's incredible. And the prices you can get some of these Oceanus models, and the dials are really beautiful on them too. I think it was I don't know if it was a triple calendar Casio Oceanus. I can't remember the reference number right now. I was looking for it and I just couldn't find it. But that watch was incredible. I was shocked at the way they finished. And titanium's a little harder to finish than stainless steel, right? I'm not sure if that's grade 2 or grade 5 titanium on the Oceanus, but if you ever get to check one of those out, you'll be amazed at how well it's finished. That is a more expensive Casio family of watches than others. And you can get them for pre-owned for great prices. I think if you have a chance to pick one up, you'll be surprised at how well they are finished. So yeah, that's my bronze. Seiko SNR / Grand Seiko gets the silver medal for me. Everything you said, just incredibly done. Skilled artisans are polishing these watches. I could even throw the Citizen in here, go just with the Japanese brands, because the Citizen, again, titanium, also finished very well, but Grand Seiko is a step above it for sure. The SNR is basically finished in the Grand Seiko studio as well. That has the beautiful brushing, more brushing than polishing, but on the side of the case there is Zaratsu polishing, and it's just so well done. And on their Marine Masters and everything too, that are kind of made in the Grand Seiko studio. And then I did go with the Moser Endeavor as my gold medalist here. Mainly the way the movement was finished. The watch is all polished, beautifully polished, and there is a little bit of brushing on the sides of the case. But the movement with the Geneva striping and the way the red gold rotor was finished, some days I wanted to wear that watch with the movement up. I'm not a big display case bag guy unless a movement looks like that. And everyone I showed that to was like, okay, I get this watch. Wow. Because I think, the concept dial is a little polarizing with nothing on it. That's not for everybody. But when they see the back of the watch, they get it. So just to recap, my bronze, the Casio Oceanus, a surprise. It squeaks in there. They weren't picked to do anything, and they win the bronze. Silver, Seiko SNR / Grand Seiko, and then the Moser Endeavor gets the gold. And yeah, that'll do it for the inaugural Watchdog Podcast Olympics.
Yeah, man, this was a lot of fun. And it brought me back down. The greatest part about it is it brought me back down memory lane.
Right.
Looking at watches, looking at my Instagram, and
Yeah.
remembering. I was like, oh wow, yeah, crap. I used to own that watch, and I totally, yeah. So I love this mental exercise, and I look forward to the 28th Watchdog Podcast Summer Olympic Edition.
And I found the reference number for the Oceanus I had, and it does look like it was a chronograph and a calendar, actually. Really cool watch. It was the Oceanus CWT 3000. They're JDM. They're great watches. Yeah, same with me. I'm looking on my 5 years back from 2021 on my Instagram, going down memory lane here at some of the watches I've owned, and man, it hits home that I've owned a lot of watches, probably way more than I should have owned. But you know what? It gets us to have discussions like this where we can talk about all the watches we've owned and do a podcast on it. So hey, I'll keep telling myself that it's worth it for that.
So worth it.
All right. Well, anything you want to plug here before we end? You want to plug your channel? What's going on with your channel?
Yeah, hey, listen, always will plug our show,
Yes.
the Watch Soup. Pretty much the only thing that's going on with the Bobby Legs Loves Watches YouTube channel for the moment. Life is, getting busy, or has been getting busy, especially with the kids and then returning to the office. I had to return to the office this year. So the content hasn't been coming out as much as I would like to, but I still love doing the soup with you. And hopefully we can get Sanjay to come and do another making an
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
All right.
Yeah.
So your people will talk to my people.
That's right.
Hopefully they talk to Sanjay's people.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, it's so much fun doing that show with you, and it's over 5 years now. I know there have been various host lineups. You and Sanjay started it, and then I joined in, and then you went away for a while, and Sanjay and I did it with various people, and I think he had other guests on, and then you came back, and it was the three of us, and then Sanjay, got really busy with his brood of children and his new job and everything, and then now it's been you and I for a while, and I love doing it. I know the nights have been a little inconsistent here, but yeah, look forward on either a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday night. And I will put a link to our latest episode in the show notes, so you can get if you've never watched it before on Bobby's channel, you can kind of get a flavor of what we do there. If you remember on there was a show called Talk Soup, originally hosted by Greg Kinnear, then John Hansen and other people, where basically they would look at all the days like talk shows. I don't know, it wasn't Donahue, but it might have been like Jerry Springer and like all those type of shows. And they'll do like the best highlights of daytime TV essentially. And so, yeah, that's what we do. We go through and find our favorite watch video of the week, something that might be topical or that resonates with us, and then we'll discuss it with the live audience. It's a live stream, so it's a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully we'll be doing another one maybe this Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday.
I'm in.
All right. Well, Bobby, this is your fourth appearance, I think, on the podcast. Need to have you on more often, and you'll catch Sanjay one of these days for sure, I think, in terms of breaking the record. So, Bobby, thank you for taking the time late in the evening here. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Clayton. My pleasure, buddy.
All right. And yeah, you know how to get in touch with me. Shoot me a message on Instagram. This gets released as a YouTube video, so you can leave a comment there. You can also text the podcast. I always say I'm not able to text you back. I'm not being rude. I just can't do it. So yeah, until next time, remember, sometimes you're the dog, sometimes you're the hydrant, but hey, at least you're outside. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Watchdog Podcast. See you later.